Welcome back to another episode of Super J Recap. I'm Kyle. I'm joined this week by another guest.
I am the slasher Scott Story.
And we are going over the 1995 Super J Cup, and this is the semifinals match between Gedo and Wild Pegasus.
Wild Pegasus.
Yeah, Wild Pegasus, a.k.a. Chris Benoit. So, as always, if you're not comfortable watching a Chris Benoit match, feel free to skip this episode because you've got a real good episode the next week. This episode's going to be really good, too. But the match for next week is better. It was Gedo versus Wild Pegasus. Really super aggressive to start out.
Yeah, so right off the bat, that belly-to-back suplex that Benoit almost drops Gedo on his head. I wanted to phrase that better, but you know what I was going to say? Legit, I had flashbacks of, once or twice that move has gone poorly for me, and it was from that exact same angle on the way down. Just you know what? You don't need the back of your head that bad. And got a false finish right there. Yep. That could have been it. I mean, especially if he was legit knocked out, that just would have been it. But right off the bat, he's I'm not messing around.
Yeah, he wasn't messing around. And Benoit does the back suplex, but then Gedo does a bridging German, and it looks gorgeous. It was one of the best bridging Germans I think he's ever thrown in his entire career.
Yeah.
Probably because he realizes he's in there with a guy who's known for his German suplexes. So he's like, well, I got to make sure this one looks good. And it did.
You don't want to drop the with, one of the best guys at the move. Yeah. One of the greats, but I mean,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. I was really... So how much of Gedo have you actually seen of, wrestling?
Honestly, not a lot. Most of my time seeing him has been just in recent New Japan stuff. So, really, he doesn't get in the ring really ever, does he?
I mean, once in a while, but it's few and far between.
He's maybe out there with he would accompany Okada a lot.
Yeah, he accompanied Okada. Now he's accompanying Jay White, it's weird how Bullet Club's set up right now because you've got the three old guys that are each accompanying a different of the younger Bullet Club leaders. Gedo's usually the second for Jay White. Jado's usually the second for Kenta, and then Dick Togo is around now, and he's seconding Evil.
Right. It's always interesting. We talked about it on the last episode, but it's you have your cornermen. It's not the same way as a manager in WWE where they're on the outside and Paul Heyman's just throwing so much character into the match, adding to the Lesnar gets hit with a big thing and you believe he's in trouble because of Heyman's reaction. Yeah. Where in New Japan it seems more akin to a UFC fight where you have your cornermen, your coaches, the people just giving you maybe a tip here and there and support. But it's a very different feel there.
Yeah, because Gedo at this point, I think it's Fukuoka was his stablemate at this point. That's who's in his corner. Benoit doesn't have anybody that I saw in his corner.
Yeah.
But he ends up being in Liger's corner for the finals.
Okay. Definitely didn't make any friends with that camera dude when he was the turnbuckle and he just kicked that dude get out of the way.
There were some rage problems obviously. I wrote in my notes. So Gedo did like a Hurricane Rana and then followed up with the suicide dive to the outside.
Yeah, so the camera angle on that, he completely ate shit, right?
It looked like it, but like, yeah, it was like, even in my notes, I was like, Benoit caught him with something or something, because
Benoit got up first, and Gedo looked like he was out, and he dove, and it looked like the way they landed, it almost looked like Gedo got his feet caught in the ropes, but I don't think he
didn't.
Like, I think he... Yeah. But maybe Benoit did some sort of counter, but whatever it was, the cameras didn't catch exactly why Gedo was down.
Yeah, it almost was if he didn't get the full distance that he wanted.
Yeah.
You know,
and that might be a plan, too, to be like, you know, you're just a little too far, and I just go headfirst on the ground. Who knows? But that could have been what happened.
Or I mean, given how the spot ends up going, and knowing Benoit's reputation even at this point for being very precise with everything he does in the ring, you almost think that maybe Gedo was supposed to like go through the table in the suicide dive, and then he didn't get enough. He didn't get enough like distance for that, so Benoit just suplexes him through the table instead.
Right, and the table didn't break.
It's a Japanese table; they never break.
But it always looks so much worse when it doesn't break. That's what people don't think. Like, when you go through the table, it's like, whoa, destruction. But when a dude lands on a table and it doesn't break, you're like, ooh, that did not feel good.
Well, no, I remember even like early in your career when you did the splash in MIW onto GA, and the table like broke after your impact. It
was a weird thing. Like, the table definitely it hurt. Like it hurt like that. I didn't expect it to feel good, but God. So the other thing about that too, though, is that GA was he was not exactly in the right spot. So where the table broke was where his head was. Yeah. So when he went back of his head first right into the ground, and like there was a moment where I was like, you know, are you okay? And I didn't get a response, and I was like, are you okay? He's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I don't think so.
But yeah, the Japanese table is notorious for not breaking whatsoever. So Gedo just kind of fell off it and it collapsed. You know, huge. It was actually then followed up when they got back in the ring. You know, a top rope Hurricane Rana by Benoit, which I always forget that like he could do that.
Right. He definitely was a bit more grounded as his career went on, with the exception
of the headbutt,
flying headbutt. But yeah, he was all over the place, and like, God, it's just, you know, it's obviously been a while since, you know, Benoit matches have been like a thing, but he hits so hard, like, you know, those chops. When I'm watching it, you know, almost 2 decades later.
Yeah, no, he hit so hard. You know, it's a shame of what happened because of, you know, he is the prototype of like a modern professional wrestler in ring. Mm-hmm. It's just, you know, what happened outside of the ring, you know, taints that incredibly.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and of course, it being Japan, of course, there's a false finish from a lariat.
Yeah. But
then I remember seeing that lariat spot and been like, okay, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that would straight up take you out easily.
Yeah. Then followed up by another power bomb and dragon suplex for another near fall.
Mm-hmm.
The dragon suplex always looks scary.
Yeah, it's definitely not a move I ever want to take, and I haven't. But yeah, it's a horrifying move. There's so much the chances of it going just a little bit wrong is so high, and the repercussions are coming.
Yep.
So
it's like, okay, at best, if this goes wrong, concussion.
Yeah, repro concussions.
I'm
not.
Yeah. But then, powerbomb, dragon suplex, misses the big diving headbutt. The crowd's going crazy at this point. Gedo reverses the powerbomb, then hits the tombstone, and then a diving headbutt from Gedo, which was one of his finishers, and he gets the win.
Did he have it first?
It was just about the same time, similar times, and they were in different companies at this point too.
Yeah, that's always fun too when you have like WWE kind of they didn't make it. I mean, they made it a little bit of a big deal, but like during the Invasion, Booker T with the bookend versus The Rock with the rock bottom, because it's they move. And they're like, who's got the better move? And they would do like RVD and Eddie Guerrero is probably a better example, because I feel like that was a bigger deal there.
Yeah, the frog splash versus the 5-star frog splash,
Yeah. That's that's a fun thing when you have like two guys with like, similar moves, that's especially a finisher. But like I didn't know who was winning this match when I started it. So when Benoit went for his diving headbutt, like for one, he kicked that dude. He was like, get out of my corner. Kicked him right out. And then missed it. I just did not expect that because of the intensity. It was like him kicking that guy away, for one. It was like, dick move, bro. But like it looked like it was more in his like I'm blanking on the word I want to use, but it's like I need to get up there now. Like his urgency. I drank Alpha Brain. There's no reason I couldn't think of urgency, but I couldn't think of urgency.
It happens.
Yeah, but then you can almost say like that guy was in the way just a little bit. He kicks him out. It gave Gedo just that extra second to get out of the way. And I mean it was a big spot. I did not see Gedo winning, especially with the diving headbutt, because I didn't know that was.
Yeah. He was doing the diving headbutt and then like a double clutch submission, which I'm assuming that's why he didn't want to do a submission, so it was a pinfall victory here. But it was a kind of really good hard hitting match. Like Gedo was super impressive in this tournament, mostly because he's the only guy who wrestles 4 matches. He's the only guy who's in the first, second, third, and fourth rounds. So.
Yeah, and like especially because most of my experience watching New Japan, which has all been all pretty much modern stuff from like 2014 or 2015 on. Like I did not know Gedo as a wrestler really. Like I just didn't see him work all that often. So it was like eye opening. Like, wow, this dude used to be the shit. Like he was what's up.
No, that's why like Finn Balor, Prince Devitt, in his like when he first came to WWE, he was talking about the fact that one of his favorite matches that he had in his entire career, you'd think it would be like, oh no, he was super excited at getting an IWGP heavyweight title shot against Okada. And he's like, yeah, that was cool, but I really liked the match that I had with Gedo leading up to it.
Yeah, and I don't think I if I've seen it, I don't remember seeing it, but I feel like I want to. Yeah,
it's a weird like I think it's finally on New Japan World, but it wasn't for the longest time. Because it was just on a Road to show, like it wasn't a major show.
But to Balor, he was like that match was quality. That was I had.
Yeah, Balor loved it, and it's like he talks about that more than he talks about the Okada match that he had like 2 days later. I was like, okay, dude. But also he loves the 95 SummerSlam ladder match more than the WrestleMania 10 ladder match. So, I mean, they're both good, but they're both Shawn and Razor, so they're both amazing, but
but the Mania one is the one people talk about ever. Like that's I can't even think of the last time I've heard the SummerSlam one even referenced.
Yeah, no,
now.
I think the only thing I remember of the SummerSlam match is just like Razor with both titles.
Yeah, like that's the shot they use. But then everything else
is from the Mania match, yeah.
Because that was the Mania was first.
Mania was
right?
first. Mania, it was like a year and a half difference, yeah.
Yeah. So like that, I can see why obviously then, because that was that the first ladder match in WWF at the time?
It was the first major one. So they basically tried it out like a year before that, with actually Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. And it was just on like a wrestling challenge or, one of their like, it wasn't even a Saturday night's main event. It was just like one of their primetime wrestling things.
Right. But it was obviously done as a trial run to see if this concept would work out.
And like Bret even in interviews now is so pissed off about the WrestleMania 10 ladder match. Because he was like, it was my idea, it was my concept, and then Shawn took it. Because he wanted, and I don't know if this match would have been better by any means, but I think chemistry-wise it would have been really close. Bret wanted his SummerSlam match in '94 against his brother Owen to be the ladder match. Which like that would have been.
I mean, I can see.
Yeah, like that would have been really good.
Yeah, I didn't know that the ladder match was Bret Hart's like.
Well, because it was a concept that they used a couple times in Stampede, so he knew it. But I mean, Shawn just took it and ran with it.
Right. So it was more like Bret's idea to bring it to WWF and be like this extreme stuff.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm Shawn Michaels.
Yep. So any final thoughts on what you thought about the match?
Yeah, I mean, it was hard hitting. It was intense. I feel like my head is ringing a little bit from watching it. I really feel bad for that camera guy. He was trying to do his job, and he just gets kicked in the teeth. I don't know where he got kicked, but it didn't look pleasant. He did not know that. But you know what? Stay away from the turnbuckles when Chris Benoit's wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. Actually, it was a recent story on my friend Michael Watson, previous guest on this show, Brainbuster, on Instagram. He just talked on his Bad Light podcast of actually getting sandwiched between like, it was actually Red Dragon. Like they were gonna do that move where Bobby Fish like slams a guy up against the guardrail and then Kyle O'Reilly comes in for the double stomp. He goes to slam the guy into the guardrail and doesn't realize that Watson's between him and the guardrail. So he basically slams the guy onto Michael. And Michael scurries out of there because he's like, oh, God. Like he gets hit, hits the guardrail, scurries out of there. And then, because he's like, I know Kyle O'Reilly is coming. And I got to get my ass out of the way. So apparently the promoter went and talked to him after and is like, dude, you okay? You okay? Sorry that happened. He's like, that happens, once in a while. Like, so sorry. You sure you're okay? He's like, yeah, I'm okay. He's like, if that ever happens again, though, sell it a little bit, please.
Yeah, he just got up,
and then the guy that took the move is still sitting there. But the little little camera guy is running around. Even though I think Michael's like 2 inches taller than everybody else out there, so.
Right. I mean, I could see in the moment. I mean, clearly he's got a little bit of panic going on. He's about to be in the middle of a higher impact move coming, and then also not being where he was supposed to be. Like, he just got like off.
Yeah.
Whoops, this wasn't supposed to happen. So you get that like scrambling, got to get out of here. My other big thought was that damn suicide dive. Like I rewound it to watch that to be like, what happened here? But it looked like he just ate it hard on the ground. Like from the angle we saw, I think it looked like he just kind of went head first on the ground.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Like it was a super aggressive match. Like both guys looked really good in it, and yeah, I want to go back and try and find some more Gedo from this era. Like, throughout this tournament, it's been like Gedo and Shinjiro Otani have been the two guys who really stood out to me.
Yeah, I definitely liked in the last episode, the pacing was so much, it was a much longer match, so the pacing was longer, slower build to this was just right to the point. They just go in guns blazing, and that's a lot of fun too. I don't want to say short and sweet because it was a 15
it was about
minute
15
match,
with entrances, so yeah.
Yeah, but they get right into it, just hitting hard, making it look like a dude is annihilated immediately with a belly to back suplex.
Yeah.
That's it's fun to watch for sure. I liked it a lot.
So do your plugs.
All right. Well, I am at the Scott Story on Twitter and Instagram. Scott Story on Facebook. ProWrestlingTees.com/Scott Story, and then I have the a design for the Slasher Scene shirts up on my page, and Sebastian Taylor has a different color on his.
Nice.
So I have the black.
Cool.
So yeah, that's all my stuff.
Yep, and then follow me. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me at Knocked Out Films. Sorry if we went on a few too many tangents. It's weird. It's like we're friends, and also we used to do a podcast together, so we just go on tangents once in a while.
It happens more than once in a while.
It happens way more than once in a while. So thanks again. Thanks for watching.